Yo, what's going on, guys? I'm back with another video today, and we're going to be going over Spectre Divide, the closed beta, and we're going to be talking about all of these sponsors or characters that you can play in the game. As of this video, there is currently 8 sponsors in the game during the closed beta, and let's just get right into them and start with the first one. Pinnacle International is the very first sponsor on this list, and it comes with 3 abilities as usual, and the Q ability is called Splinter Grenade. This is going to be free, and you get it at the start of every round. You have 2 charges of it, and how it works is you throw a grenade which explodes into 8 splinters that do 40 damage each. After 75 seconds they recharge, and you have 2 charges, as I said. The second ability is the E ability. It is called Adrenalink, where you instantly equip a Spectre linked stim which heals you for 80 health over 10 seconds, and your Spectre gains enhanced vision and ignores weapon move speed penalties. So basically, you're just healing yourself up, and while you're doing it, your clone gets to get some more action. The last ability is the C ability, and it's Flash Grenade. Throw a grenade that explodes after 1.6 seconds and blinds all players in line of sight. And if you alt fire, you can underhand throw the grenade so that it pops a little bit faster. Next up, we have Morgan United, and they have the Q ability of Smoke Shift, where you throw a grenade that creates a cloud of smoke for 14 seconds, and if you alt fire, you can throw the smoke grenade and your puck at the same time. You get 2 charges of this ability, as well as it recharging after 60 seconds. Moving on to the E ability, this is called Meltdown, where you throw a grenade that creates an area of caustic fluid which damages players for 168 health over 7 seconds. Essentially, this is just a Molotov. Finally, you have the C ability, which is called Hidden Grasp, where you deploy a trap that cloaks itself after deployment, and if an enemy gets too close, it explodes and creates a slow zone for 10 seconds. The next playable sponsor is called Bloom Technologies, and they have the Q ability of Hex Barrier, where you deploy a barrier that blocks bullets. The barrier is made of 4 sections that have 150 health each, and recharges after 30 seconds. Essentially, this is a wall that you can see through, but you can't shoot through, so you have to break it. Next up is the E ability, which is called Twin Mend. You can heal a damaged ally and their Spectre for 80 health over 10 seconds, or if you alt fire, you can heal yourself and your Spectre for 40 health over 10 seconds. Finally, you have the C ability, which is called a Swarm Grenade, where you throw a grenade that releases a swarm of bees, and the swarm blocks vision and damages enemies for 100 health over 12 seconds. Essentially, this is a smoke grenade that also damages the enemies that go inside of it. The next sponsor that I'm going to talk about is Riker Industries, and their Q ability is called Wave Scan. Throw a sonar spike that pulses 3 times towards your body. Enemies hit by a pulse will be located for 3 seconds, and if you alt fire, you can bounce the sonar spike 1 time before sticking, and this has a 45-second recharge. The E ability is called Hull Mine, where you throw a proximity mine that sticks to the ground. After a short delay, the first enemy who gets too close will trigger 3 explosions that deal 15 health damage each. This is kind of like a little drone that just tells you if enemies are near, and also does a little bit of chip damage. Finally, you have the C ability, which is called Arc Sentry, where you deploy a sentry that heavily slows enemies who get within its line of sight. This is also kind of like the Hull Mine in that it tells you where the enemies are, but it also just slows them instead of damaging. Next up on the list, we have Vector Dynamics, and their Q ability is called Dual Amp, where you deploy a marker and gain a 15% fire rate buff for 8 seconds. You can then reactivate to teleport your Spectre to that marker, giving it a fire rate buff. And kills during this reset the duration, and then you have a 30-second recharge after it's on. Their E ability is called Vector Wall, where you deploy a slow-moving nanobot wall that blocks vision for 10 seconds, and you can alt fire the wall so that it moves faster, but it will only last for 6 seconds. Finally, they have the C ability, which is titled Nanosphere, where you can deploy a bouncing nanoswarm that deals 90 damage over 2.5 seconds to the first enemy that it gets near. You can bounce this off the walls to clear out area, as well as get kills around corners. Moving on to the next sponsor, we have Ghostlink Collective, and their Q ability is titled Partition, where you can deploy a wall that blocks line of sight for 8 seconds. The wall is not stopped by terrain, and touching the wall will slightly blur the vision. This has a 45-second recharge on the ability. The next one is the E ability, titled Dupe, where you can instantly deploy a dupe of your current body, which lasts for 5.5 seconds. Additionally, you can leave a dupe behind when you puck throw if you have a charge remaining. Enemies who shoot the dupes will be briefly revealed so you can get their location, and they will be confused by seeing another player. Finally, you have the C ability, which is titled Dead Zone, where you can throw a grenade that creates a large distortion field and blurs the vision of all players inside. This lasts for 10 seconds, and anybody that's inside it will really have a hard time seeing where you are. Next up, we have Mew Robotics, which has the Q ability titled Patches, where you can deploy a drone that moves forward and heals you and allies in its radius for 80 health over 12 seconds, or you can also alt-fire the drone to have it stationary so it doesn't move away. This ability has a 60-second recharge and is really useful throughout fights. Next up, you have the E ability, which is titled Dazzler, where you can deploy a flying drone that follows your crosshair. After 1 second, the drone explodes and obscures the vision of any enemies in line of sight. Basically, this makes the enemies see crazy colors and things. It's just like a flashbang. Finally, you have the C ability, which is called Hyperdome, where you throw a grenade that creates a permanent fast recall zone and a 150 health shield dome on impact. The shield dome will last for 14 seconds, but the fast recall zone is permanent, so you can just bring your Spectres in really quickly. The final playable sponsor class is called Umbra Reconnaissance, and this Q ability is titled Recon Wing, where you throw a drone that sticks to the first surface it hits, and after 1.2 seconds, the drone will reveal enemies within range. This ability has a 50-second recharge, so you can get it back over and over again throughout the rounds. Next up, we got the E ability, which is titled Pulse Finder, where you can instantly equip a scanner that pulses every 2 seconds for 30 seconds. Enemies that are hit by it are detected and will leave a marker at their location. However, they can see how many remaining pulses you have when you detect them. Finally, you have the C ability, which is called Glare Burst, where you can deploy a drone that charges up for 1.25 seconds and then blinds all players within its AoE for 4 seconds. That's going to be all of the playable sponsors that we have now, and as we learn more about these characters, we'll figure out new crazy ways to use their tech and also find out combinations that we can use within different types. That's going to do it for everything that we're going over in today's video, but if you at all found this video informative or enjoyed it, then make sure you hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. I appreciate you guys being here, and I'll see you guys next time. Later.